All right. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you guys are around the world. We are so excited. I can't even stand it how excited I am. I don't think I could sleep last night. It was kind of like, whoa, we're going to unveil something, and you guys are going to really love this. And we've been working on this. I actually have been working on this for at least 10 years. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It really, 10 years.
He's not.
10 years of work.
I've worked with Mark since 2016, I think it's been. So 4 years. And as long as I've known you, I've always known that this is what you've been working
This is
towards.
our destination, you guys. So it's super exciting to have you guys with us. We're we're going to reveal it in just a minute. Let's get a couple of things out of the way first. So we are going to be giving away a print at the end of the show. Stick around, and we're going to give away a print from Bay Photo. Jared, what is it, by the way? What are we giving away?
We're giving away, I got it right here, we're giving away a 20 by 30 metal print with exhibit mount.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. 20 by 30. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
All right. So that'll be a gorgeous piece.
Includes any of five finishes and an exhibit mount. So
Okay.
that's talk about starting your own little
Gallery.
exhibit. I know we have a couple people here that have their own little private small exhibits. So this is how you can either add to your collection or get started on yours.
And again, thank you, Bay Photo. And make sure you take advantage of their specials. You can see them on their special page. And also, your first order, if you haven't placed one yet, you'll get 25% discount. All right, well, let's get to work here. We got some stuff to cover, and I'm gonna just the easiest way for me to roll this out for you is like this. Okay. All right. So here's the question: how do you get inspired? How do you advance your photography, and how do you get your work out to the world without buying any new equipment or new software? Okay, that's what this show is going to be about, is basically how you achieve those goals in an ideal setting. You've even heard me talking about this in different ways. We've been certainly talking around it for the last couple of months. So let's take a look at how this rolls out. So first of all, and I already mentioned this, stay on board. You're going to get a print, but we're not going to do that until the end of the show. Marc Silber, who is this guy? Well, why am I qualified to even talk to you guys about this? Well, I first of all have a burning passion to learn. I guess that qualifies me, and I mean it. I study every day for at least, I don't know, a couple hours. All right, and I study at night. I study in the middle of the night. I read books. I mean, I'm kind of crazed about absorbing knowledge. You know that I've done thousands of hours of interviews with hundreds of photographers, really getting at their core message, like what really resonates, and that I turned into my books. It's not all just from those guys. I do my own research and what works for me, and what I see. The key word here is what works, not what sounds good, but what actually works. And that's what I've put in my courses and now into this platform, which we're going to go over right now. My story, I'm going to tell you briefly. I was a pretty good photographer when I was a teenager. All these photographs were taken. This was actually pre-teen, the chairs. The rest of them were in my teens. I was a decent photographer. But, and there's a but here, I was one of those 90% that I told you that came out of art school that did not pursue an artistic career. I went off in a completely different direction, just like the other 90% that didn't go in that direction. But at kind of the end of that career, I just was so hungry for photography that I said, I am going to jump back into this, and I'm going to fulfill my career that I never had as a pro photographer. But I had a lot of hard work. Listen, the digital age had completely come along. I wasn't up to speed. I had to do what these people are doing, study stacks of books, and I ended up looking like this guy a lot of the time, just feeling, am I ever going to catch up with this? That was the hard way. Now, I like to find shortcuts. That's kind of why I do all this study. I'm always looking for how can I pass along what I've learned as a shortcut. And there is an easy way, you guys. The easy way, and if you want the easy way, guess what? Visualization is the key. What does visualization mean? It means having it in your mind before, and it's not just before pressing the shutter, although that's a huge part of visualization, but it applies to all aspects of your self as a photographer, your career even. Visualization is the key, and remember that's the center of the whole cycle of photography and the cycle of creativity. That's what you do with your mind. The most important asset that you have isn't your cameras, your gear, your software. It's you using your mind to compose, capture, and do all the other parts of the cycle of photography. So let's do an exercise in visualization right now. I want you, first of all, I want you to think about what your goals are. What is it that you have a burning passion to achieve as a photographer? It could be to publish in a book. It could be to have an exhibit. It could be something that makes a difference. I know I've talked to a lot of you guys, and almost every one of you said you want to leave something behind or pass it along to your children that will be meaningful and have made a difference to the world. And you can certainly do that. So whatever that goal is, think about that. Now I want you to visualize, what does it feel like having made that goal? What does that feel like? You know, what emotion hits you? Because that's my purpose, is to take you there and to help you achieve that exact goal. And I'm not kidding. This is what I live for. It's more about you than me. I mean, I definitely have my own goals as a photographer. But, you know, unfortunately, sometimes I let that go by. I'm more interested in bringing education of photography and creativity, which is a huge passion for me. So I want you to think about that right now. Keep that in mind as we go through this, because everything I'm going to show you is about you achieving that goal, which is unique to you. I can't tell you, nor can anybody else tell you what your goal is. It's unique to you, and that's, again, what I want to help you achieve. Now, I'm going to go over 3 secrets about achieving that goal that we've looked at. First of all, what is the key to advancing towards your goal? But Mark, it takes too much time. I don't have that time. And I don't know if I can get inspired and be creative enough to achieve that goal. Guess what? We're going to dismantle and throw away all those, and I'm going to show you how. So let's take up the first one here. The whole key to advancing your photography, well, there's a huge false belief out there that you guys are aware of, which is that photography is about gear and software. You have to have the latest. You got to spend a lot of money on it. If I only had that new lens, then I would be creative. Or if I just bought that new upgrade of software, then I'll be creative. And then you buy it and it sits there and you don't use the lens, or it doesn't really matter anyway, because you had a lens that was perfectly good. I've made these. Come on, you guys. You don't think I haven't done that too? You nerd out. And the nerding out does not get you one step closer to your goal. Isn't that amazing? Now, here's something really interesting that we found. Somebody left this comment on our YouTube, you know, and I looked into it. I'm just going to get rid of myself. So there's a photographer named Farn. He's really big in the Philippines. He's an award-winning photographer, and he had an interview. He was asked, what would you buy if you had $5,000 to spend on your photography? And he said, spend $1,000 on a decent camera. And he gave some examples. I'm not even going to go over that. But what do you do with the other $4,000? You spend it on classes. You can learn more and learn the proper way of how to take a photo. Not many self-taught photographers have the discipline to really understand the concept of photography. Use that money in that kind of field so you can make full use of your $1,000. Bam! That's it, guys. That is really resonates with me, obviously. I mean, yes, you might need a new piece of this or that. I buy equipment, but I'm pretty sure you already have the equipment that you need. I don't care if it's an iPhone, a smartphone, or whatever, a 35 millimeter camera, an old Fuji or whatever, an old Canon. It will work and take you there. What you need are the skills and the way to get there. But it takes too much time, Mark. I don't have time. I'm busy. I got this going on and that going on, and I don't really have the time to pour myself into this. Well, I don't. First of all, you guys have shown me you do have the time, but this thought kicks in there, doesn't it? Sometimes we get fooled by this, and many people, they believe they just don't have the time, or that it's really hard to be disciplined. Now, it can be hard to be disciplined, and that is one of the pitfalls of trying to do this all on your own. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest problems is random learning. Again, that's like, I've used this analogy, it's like going to Baskin Robbins and getting that little tiny scoop of ice cream. For those of you in countries that don't have Baskin Robbins, just a tiny little spoon, they give you a sample. Are you going to be satisfied if you keep doing all these samples all over the place? Or maybe what you really want is a full meal. That's what I want to give you, is a full meal. Okay. Now, there are some tricks or secrets, or really these aren't secrets at all because I talk about them all the time. How do you advance to the next level? First of all, you've got to have an understandable and practical set of skills that work. Okay? I've done the hard work there, you guys. I've spent years searching that out, putting it into my books, putting it into my videos. It's there. Okay? Trust me. You've got to have easy to follow weekly classes. Why weekly? Because we don't learn things in smaller increments in a week. I mean, if you go to school, you have at least a weekly class on a given subject. If you're trying to learn tennis and you don't play every week, or you're trying to learn any sport or a musical instrument, you've got to go to class, then you've got to practice in between. That has to happen, and it has to be done on a weekly basis. And also, you need to be part of a community. When I went to art school, one of the major benefits that I had from it was being exposed to this community. One of the members of my community was Annie Leibovitz, who I met up with years later. I mean, she's pretty amazing, right? In our community, we have some fantastic photographers. You see in our critique show, just incredible photographers. And each of us can help each other go to that next level. This is super important. You've got to make time for your creativity. I wrote an entire chapter 8 of the book Create, because I knew that was one of the major stumbling blocks that people had. And it's called How to Make Time. Making time to create. It's already written. I will teach a class on that. I'm going to be teaching classes from my books. These are never done before. This is not on YouTube. This is only for what you guys are going to see here in a minute. Okay, so what else is going on here? So, number 3, getting inspired and being creative. It's hard. You're either born creative or you're not. And to that I say, again, in this book, I explored this very thoroughly. And I interviewed 12 super creative people like Chris Burkhart, who is an outstandingly creative photographer, filmmaker, author. Mark Isham, multi-Grammy award-winning. Chris McCaskill, who developed Smug Mug. I mean, these are talented people, and every one of those people had to overcome barriers to get where they were in their creativity. They were not just blessed with some magical aura that allowed them to be creative. And it was hard, but I'm making it easy for you guys because, again, You don't have to do what I did and spend 10 years sifting through all this stuff. I've done all the heavy lifting. It's all there. I'm going to show you how to do it. And you are born creative whether you know it or not. It's not a gene. It's not some people have creativity and some don't. It's a skill that is in your soul. I'm not kidding. It's within you, more precisely. I can show you how to accelerate that skill. We all have creative skills. It's a matter of accelerating those skills. Make it faster, make it better. And that's where education comes in. That's the point of education. All right, so what do we have here? Again, I'm going to teach classes out of this book, Increasing Your Creativity. It's all in there. I've done all the hard work. We don't have to look further. I want you to think in terms of investing in yourself, not just gear, not software. We're kind of like hypnotized into that. We're kind of brainwashed into thinking, if I just, I mean, look, what are all these ads that pop up all the time? Are they about education? Some are, but most of the time it's about some piece of equipment. Okay, now we made some videos to introduce this to you. So I'm going to introduce you to AYP Plus. This is what we're revealing today, so bear with me. Please watch this video. It's very short, and it's going to describe to you what this is all about. I am super excited to announce to you the release of the AYP Plus platform. This is something I've been working on for over 10 years. There's tons of benefits for you guys, and here's what they are. So first of all, we'll have live classes from me, where I'll be going into detail on subjects I've never been able to cover like this before. Things like how to improve your visualization skills, getting inspired, adding to your creativity, how to get your work out to the world with details of how to create a blurb book, building a website like on SmugMug, getting your prints out into the world in lots of other ways. We're also going to cover composition skills and something really important, which is personal development, overcoming negativity and making sure that you are reaching your goals. There's lots more there. You can see them live, but if you can't, or you just want to watch them again, they're going to live in a library. You can always access them. The next component is unreleased footage from friends of ours like Bob Holmes and Dan Milner. When I originally did these interviews, sometimes they were 45 minutes or an hour, but we edited them down to like 8 or 10 minutes. So that meant there's a lot of footage you've never seen. Well, we're going to release these from time to time to the AYP Plus community. But listen, they're not up forever, so make sure you watch them when they come around. The next big component is a really robust community that you can share your work in. You can get help where you need it. You can also share your advice for what's working and get feedback and how to overcome challenges. This is super important as part of the community. I'm also going to give you assignments that you can work on to build your body of work. This is all part of the AYP Plus platform. You guys have got to jump in there. It's super easy for you to advance to the next level. All you've got to do is just join now. I'll see you there soon. Jump over. Jared is going to give us, lead us on a tour of AYP Plus. Jared, you all set?
Yep, I am ready.
Okay.
All right, so this is our first area. This is where you're going to access a lot of the content. It's the AYP Plus library.
Yep.
And so let's take a little tour around here. First off, you can see we have a latest news section. This is where we'll update you about new content that's coming out, changes in the platform. It'll also be in our community area, which we'll go over later. And then we have our resources and deals. So these are awesome deals and resources available to AYP Plus members. And then you can see who all is currently online. And once again, we'll get back to the community area. But once you go further down, you can see some categories. And this is where you're going to access the content of the AYP Plus library, such as the AYP Plus classes.
Yep, they'll all live in there. So, they're done weekly. If you can't make the live weekly class, those classes are going to live in there. And again, it's a whole variety of subjects that I really haven't had the way to get into before, like stuff out of the Create book on creativity, for instance. Then we have the tutorials. We've actually made a bunch of these already, and we put them all in here. Some of them you've never seen before, I guarantee. Like our friend Fletch Murray did a whole series on lighting. What's cool about these are applicable to both motion and moving, video, and still photography. And he's an outstanding teacher. So there's a lot of cool stuff already in there that you guys can access. All these are there for you.
And one feature I really love about these is we have a search here.
Yeah.
And we have the transcripts of every single one of these. So if you want to go searching for a specific thing, you can search in anywhere in the AYP library. It'll come up with it.
Super cool.
That's a cool, fun feature.
Yeah. And featured content. Remember I mentioned that most of these interviews, a lot of them were 45 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, and they got edited down to 8 or 10. Where did all that other footage go? Well, guess what? From time to time, we're going to release these to you guys. This is with our friend Dan Milner. And Jared, tell him that one little story. One of the cuts that you didn't make. We really didn't cut anything out of these, right? I mean, just...
Yeah, they're pretty much, from one end to the other. We leave out the boring stuff when, it's like
card.
we have to change out cards. Yeah. But, I left in fun interactions. Like, there's a great moment where Mark's like, okay, we got time for one more question. And he's like, okay, we got time for one more. And then Dan makes a joke question. And then we can also see...
I think it was like, how tall is... I can't remember, but it was like...
You'll have to check it out to see it, So, does a fun joke. And you just see how it's very real and it's very authentic.
Yeah.
But it's the things that we can't put in a YouTube video because we're constrained by the algorithm. Yeah. So now you can see them for the first time
algorithm.
In their entirety.
You guys are the algorithm. You guys are the ones that tell us what we're going to put in here. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff right there.
Yep. And then we've got some extra stuff here on the side, such as class times. Mark, if you want to go over that a little bit.
On Tuesday, December 1st, we're launching our first show, our first class, 10 a.m. I'm not going to tell you just yet what it is. You guys who sign up will be you can be there live. And one of the features, which we'll get into in a minute, which is very different than YouTube Live, is that not only can you leave text comments, but Jared will monitor and can open up for video and or audio. So we can actually hear you and see you ask your questions, which is something you can't do on YouTube. We've been really looking forward to making that happen. The masterclass, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, will start initially Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. That could fluctuate, but once we get our group together, we might, fine tune it, but that'll be our first class. So there's the class times right there.
All right. And then we also have a fun guide to help you out get the most of your experience. You wrote that yourself, right, Mark?
I did. I really just sat down and I thought, okay, I've been educating people for so many years. What really are those things that have to be in place to make it work? It's not a do's and don't particularly. It's more like these are the optimum ways to learn, and that's what's in. It's not very long. It's like a page and a half.
All right. And then our final thing is how to use Discord. So you've heard us use this word Discord. That is the platform that we are going to be using to host the AYP Plus community. It's pretty robust, and that's where the classes are going to happen, the live classes. We have found that it's going to be great, so we've got a little guide here that you can check out. But we're going to give you a little tour quick.
If I were to rename this, I would call it Concord, which means working together. I think they did it almost as a joke, Discord, because really it creates harmony. That's the point of it.
It's one of those names where if you could have changed it, if you knew that it was going to go for a long time, you probably wouldn't have picked it.
They might have brought on it, but it works for us. We're bringing about Concord, which is harmony and working together.
So what you'll see here is when you first come in, you'll be given a welcome screen. And then you'll also see this. And what we're really excited about is that we have, separate areas where we can have specific chats. Here's sort of a general chat. You can share your photos here. You can talk about technology. But where the really cool part is here in the classroom.
Yeah.
So we have our text chat area here. But then if you click here, if you do it twice, now if I had my video camera, you'd see that. But when you're in this, you're going to get to see Mark.
Right.
And one cool thing is right now we're on a 30-second delay. So
that goes
away. Yeah, that goes away. It's going to be live, and we can make it so that you can talk back to us. So when we do a Q&A at the end of a classroom session, we can give you the permission to
microphone.
Talk. Yeah, we'll hand over the microphone to you, essentially. And it'll be so great because we'd love to be able to hear your voices, because you hear us all the time, but we'd love to hear you guys
and
too.
see you too. I mean, that's also really, to me, what this is all about is tightening the connection that we could never do before. So one thing is you'll see that this is broken into different areas, whereas like, Facebook, everything is in one place. This breaks it into different areas where you can leave comments or questions and get your questions answered. And of course, find data from other people. So super powerful tool here.
And it's going to grow and change over time too. That's the cool part, is we get control over this space.
You guys can thank Jared for bringing this to my attention and basically adopting this platform, because I didn't even know this existed. And I think it's fantastic. And this is an example of what we did not have 10 years ago when I was trying to put this all together. So thank you, Jared.
Yep. And once again, we have a guide here, and that guide will probably change over time as I hear the things that you guys, need more clarification on. But that should hopefully help you out. And another great thing about Discord is you can always message me for support help on anything. Doesn't even have to be about Discord or AYP Plus. If you have a question about anything on our platforms or our videos or anything, you can always feel free to message me.
So we're going to show you guys how you sign up and what the prices are. And you guys are getting a humongous, huge discount, which even as this recent as this morning, I was like, really? Am I really okay with this? And I finally figured out how I'd be okay pretty much giving it away. So let me just kind of summarize. Let's just summarize what you're getting here. You get the live broadcasts. You're getting and those live broadcasts are courses, right? So each one of those are a class. Unreleased footage, connecting with the community. Those are huge components. And those are the components that I really analyzed. And I did a video or did a YouTube live on this, what worked in art school and what didn't. And that's what we've got here. This is really, guys, this is the art school that I've always wanted to create. I mean, I really have been moving in this direction, and that will really train people and remember we talked about your goals at the beginning. All this is about achieving that goal, that burning passion that you have. All right, well, let's roll on down here. There's the prices. Okay, so Jared, walk them through these.
Yeah, so we'll have two options available. We've got a month. So it's going to be $35 a month for getting all of that. And once again, it's the growing library, the community, the weekly classes. But you can also sign up for a year. And it's Thanksgiving's coming up, which means Black Friday, and Black Friday deals are coming up. So we've got a crazy deal. Normally, if you did a whole year, it'd be $420. But no, we're going to give it to you for $97. You can get a full year of AYP Plus.
So what you're paying for is 3 months, and you're getting 9 months free. That's kind of this is where I had to, even this morning, go, wait a minute, Mark, are you okay with that? And I finally figured out, yes, I want you guys to have it. This is a very, very short-term offer. I'm not pitching or selling. Take advantage of it, because it's going to go away. I'm not going to we can't afford to keep it at that level. But I want you guys, especially, nobody else in the whole world knows about this. Think what $97 you could buy in the photography world. What do you buy for $97? Okay, you can't buy a lens for $97. You could buy maybe some software. You could buy maybe a camera case. There's not a lot you can get for $97. This is your education for a year. So help me help you. And I'm going to ask you guys a favor. If you take advantage of it, I want you to tell your friends and bring them in, because we do, need your support, and that will really help us a lot. Okay, so Jared, are we ready for the next piece of this?
I think so, because maybe people are thinking like, that's cool, but I'd like to go even deeper.
All right, well, let's show you what else we're releasing here. Okay, so that's AYP Plus. Now, you've been hearing me talk about mentoring you guys. So here's what we've got. There it is, the Marc Silber Masterclass, Capture Life. Now, I've talked about this quite a bit, and we're putting together the next level. So the Marc Silber Masterclass, well, let me just show you the video, and then we can talk about it. Here it is. I am thrilled and honored to release to you today the Marc Silber Masterclass. This is something I've been working on behind the scenes for over 10 years. I took a look at what are the ideal and important components that have to be there to really advance your photography rapidly, and that's what's in this program. So first of all, you get everything that's in the AYP Plus membership, which are the live broadcasts that live in a library, the unreleased footage, the international community, but we take it to a whole new level. First of all, we're going to have a weekly mentorship meeting with a small group on a video platform that's super robust. It allows you to show your photos, ask your questions, and we can all go back and forth together as a group. I'm going to give you in-depth critiques on your photographs every week. But what's going to really drive this along is you're each going to pick a project over a 13-week period that you're going to submit your photos every week as we progress. This is really important. You've heard Dan Milner talk about the value of a long-range project. It's what really elevates your photography to the next level. So when we do critiques, we're not just critiquing one photo against another. We're taking a look at it in terms of your overall project. Are you achieving your goals? Do you need some direction? Is there some feedback that you need to really put this all together? And that's what we're going to do in those mentorship meetings. We're going to help overcome those challenges and keep you focused and directed on your purpose towards your project. That's really important. That's another support aspect of this mentorship group. I'm also going to give you some special bonus classes and some special guests from time to time that you'll totally love. All this fits together into one cohesive whole, you guys, the Marc Silber Masterclass, to take you from whatever level you are up to your next level as a photographer and come away with a body of work that you can release to the world, which is so satisfying. It's satisfying to know that you're leaving something behind and you're passing along your work to others and making a difference. That's all part of the Marc Silber Masterclass. All I need for you to do is join, and I'll see you there soon. Some of the key features here. First of all, we were talking about that video platform. In the masterclass, everybody will be visible, right? Everybody will be able to talk. We're going to have the floor open. The microphone is open all the time. So it's as close as we can get to being in a class. And the beauty is we have the technology to do this internationally. Because when I teach, I love to hear and see what's happening at the other end. And so there's going to be a small enough group that we can have all the cameras on. You guys can show your photographs. Now, this is how we did it in art school, and this is the way we actually did make progress. Everybody had their project that they're working towards. I can't tell you what your project is. It could range anywhere from, you're doing a photo essay of your village or your town or your grandmother, whatever is you're passionate about, or you've already captured a lot of photographs and you want to put them together and you want to edit them and process them. Whatever it is, we're going to focus on that project with you. And I'm going to give you in-depth critiques, but not just about those individual photos, but how they fit together into that whole, because that's really important. That is the secret sauce that moves your photography from wherever you are right now and gives it purpose and lift and direction. There's nothing like, I mean, listen, you guys, it's a thrill to get published and to see that hard work that you put there into one place it's going to remain there. So we are, at the end of that 13-week period, we are going to publish those. We're going to get a selection from each person who is in the master class, and we're going to publish it as a blurb book that you guys can get out to the world. You can do whatever you want with it. You're going to be published at the end of this 13-week period. Super important. You do have access to everything else, but the most, special ingredient is the fact that these classes are small and we're focusing on your work. It's a totally unique opportunity, and I hope many of you will be able to take advantage of it. We're also going to give you a crazy discount in a minute. Jared, have I left anything out? I think those are all the big components.
Yeah, that's it. So should we
let's take the tour
down a little further?
We'll tour on,
it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Just more.
Yeah.
And so here's the price for anything related to the AYP Plus platform. So,
yeah, you can see the normal price is $170 or $197 a month. Think about it. I was talking to Bob Holmes, and he said personal critiquing is going in the range of about $300 to $500 per session. So, we're doing this in a group, but that's, again, you're getting 4 of these critiques a month, once a week. But we've given a huge discount on the overall. Why don't you go over the overall price there, Jared?
Yeah, so if you were normally going to pay this for an entire year, that'd be $2,364 for a year. But instead, we have discounted it for Black Friday, so this isn't going to stick around very long. But $997 for a year. That's $83 a month. And we think that's a pretty good deal.
It's a 1-year program, and you're gonna go a long ways in that year. So that's a big chunk of. Remember that $1,000? This isn't. We're $3 short of the $1,000 he said to spend on your camera, and put $4,000 into your education. So you're not even hitting that point. So again, we tried to make this for you guys especially. We want you to jump on board. We want to make it as easy as we can. I will also mention, if you're a PayPal user, you can sign up for this. If you have PayPal credit, this is kind of a cool feature. You can get 6 months with no interest. So you don't have to actually pay for this in full until May. You got 6 months. So that's a lot of education before you even have to pay for it in full. So there you guys have it. Those are our releases. We're super excited. These are the ingredients that we needed to really create an ideal photography education environment. And I am, the other thing I'm really excited about is bringing on some guests into both of these groups, but for sure into the Marc Silber Masterclass. I'm going to, we're going to bring in Dan Milner. It's going to be and Bob Holmes. It's going to be a different kind of experience because, again, we're seeing everybody in the platform. We're hearing from them. It's as close as we can get to putting everybody in the same room together. Super excited about that. All right, well, listen, I guess we should take some questions. If there's anybody who's been watching, has got a question or comment, whatever, now is your chance.
I think we'll start off with, I kind of answered this, but we can bring this up. Will we have a chance when it's safe to meet up in Carmel? Was
Yes.
one question.
Yeah, I'm going to answer that right now. Jan and I were talking about that this morning. That we are definitely going to be opening that up. It's going to be different than these programs, but we're going to definitely that's on our agenda. I'm thinking probably, when the vaccine settles in, that sort of thing, and we're all like able to meet comfortably, we can definitely do that. So look for that in the spring. Meanwhile,
Yep.
we can do it this way.
And then we've had a couple people make mentions about the similarities between the Discord platform and Slack. And yes, they're very similar. So if you use Slack for your work, like we
Yeah,
do,
we use Slack.
then you're going to find it a very natural transition. Probably the biggest thing will be the voice chat. That will be different.
That's
That's
right.
handled differently in Discord, which is one thing we like. But if you're familiar with Slack or similar programs, that will be very natural to you. And then I like here what Jared was talking about, our friend Chicagoland Jared. He said, "Yeah, what I really like about all this is it takes your own self-education momentum and fills in the gaps of what being a well-rounded photographer means."
Exactly. And that discipline factor is a huge factor. I would not have published one of these books if I didn't have a deadline. If you know how many years I had on my, this year my goal is to publish a book. And then it wasn't until I got a contract that all of a sudden I had a deadline. I had to get the text in and I had to get the photographs together, and there was no messing around with that. It was going to be published on a certain day, and that train had left the station. And I had two choices, which, by the way, are your two choices here, you guys. You can do it or you cannot do it. I could have let the train leave without me, and I'd still be talking about one day I want to get published. Or I could have jumped on the train and said, I'm going to use just exactly what Jared said, use that momentum. You've already got that desire. All I'm going to do is give you the structure and the means to achieve that. So you can do nothing, let this all go by, or you can jump on, and a year from now, we'll be comparing notes where you started. By the way, there is an assessment at the beginning of this, where you feel you are and what weak points you need or challenges you need to work on, but what your overall goal is. And we're going to reassess as we go through that. It's like if you're learning a sport, you start off at a certain level and you should reevaluate how far you've come. It's really important to do that, to recognize how you've advanced your skills. Do nothing or jump on board. And I hope you guys jump on board.
Somebody wanted to know, Craig was asking, could you repeat the class times and how long is each class going to be?
Yeah, good question.
And well, before we get to that, Richard Haar pointed out there was a slight discrepancy in the pricing. That should be taken care of now. So if you click on that, you should have the right pricing.
Okay. Class times. So AYP Plus, Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Look, we surveyed you guys and we looked at different times and that sort of thing. If we go too late, the Europeans, even then, what time is it? 10 o'clock? It's 6 o'clock in Europe, right?
It's like 6, 7 o'clock, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, so Tuesday, 10 o'clock is AYP Plus. The master class, the initial meeting will be Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific. We are probably going to do two times per month. So we're going to maybe split it up, maybe have one on Monday and one on another day. But when we're together in the class, we will finalize that. Because again, it's small enough where we can adjust around, and try to figure out what's going to work well for everybody. The AYP Plus, that's going to be 10 o'clock, just like we do our YouTube lives. And they're all going to last about an hour. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going to run it by the clock. I'm going to think in terms of an hour if it runs over a little bit or, whatever. an hour-ish. Let's just say that's about the right amount of time to, have a beginning, middle, and end.
Yep. Wayne's got a good question. Would this rate as college credit or certificate available?
We are going to develop yes. Okay, so certificates, yes. Jared knows that I have that on my to-do list. We are
Yep.
going to put everything towards a certificate program, which means all the classes that we have, which by the way are also on special for the Black Friday.
Yeah, you'll be getting emails about that if you're part of our newsletter or our social media. So you'll definitely want to sign up for that. I'll put a link in the chat.
Anyway, so yes, we're going to do our own certificate program, and I'm definitely looking into continuing ed and credits that you can get. That isn't available just yet, but stay tuned because I know how important that is. But look, it's going to be on your resume, and we are going to definitely, this is a certificate program that you will know that you've achieved a result, and you can certainly boast about it in your resume. That's really important. Any other questions, you guys?
I think that pretty much covered it.
All
We
right.
got a lot of excitement. Rachel's really excited for it. A lot of people are very excited. We've been talking this up for quite a while, so it's a relief to
I
be
know.
finally releasing this.
And this is like, so again, if we're in our video platform, we could Jared can open up the microphone and the video. We can hear from you guys, not just type your questions, but ask them. And this is really especially important when we're doing critiquing. I want to look at you. I want to see you. You are the author of that photograph. And it's not just this, separate thing from you. It relates to you. If there's a concern you have, I can see it. We're not glossing over stuff here, you guys. We're trying to get to the real meat of what's needed. And, that's why social media likes and comments and stuff are pretty useless. They don't really teach you anything as a photographer. All they really, you've heard me talk about it, and Dan Milley. I like getting likes. I love getting comments, but usually they're things like, wow, beautiful shot. Okay, so I already knew it was a beautiful shot, and I like hearing it from other people, but I'm not learning anything from that. You know what I mean? But when we drill down and get to, again, this is all purpose and goal driven. I'm going to know, you're going to know, this is in the master class. I'm going to know what your end goal is. You know what your end goal is. Everybody in the class can know what that is. And we're all working together as a team to help each other achieve that end goal, just like a sports team, right? That's why sports are so fun. The team works together. In this case, we're not overcoming another team. We're overcoming the obstacles that are there that get in the way. And those can be anything from, boy, I don't know how to do this, Mark. Okay, let's talk about it. To those mental obstacles, which can be the most formidable. The ones that creep up in your own mind. This is, again, what I delved into deeply into this book. How to get rid of those things, or how to park them out of the way so they don't get in your road. Things like that. We're going to deal with the real stuff that makes a difference, not the gimmicky, quick answer of like, I just need a different lens. You don't need another lens. I guarantee you. You need to know how to work that lens, and you need a goal. You need, which also, where am I at? What's the end result here of all this stuff I'm doing? Where is all this going? Where am I taking this? I'm driving this thing. Where am I driving? If you get in your car and you don't have a destination, it's not that much fun. Jan and I did this 3,300-mile road trip, and we knew our destinations. Yeah, we had some surprises that we went around and whatever, but our overall destination was clearly mapped out, and we had a specific goal for that trip, and we came away very satisfied. That's how your photography needs to be. It needs to be a specific goal. Somebody, in this case, not just me, but the community, helping you overcome the barriers. They're there. Let's not pretend there aren't barriers. Keep your eyes open, like in a football game. What have you got? You've got one team playing against another. The other team is the barriers. But it could also be weather. It could be, your mental outlook, as I've mentioned. It could be a lot of different things that become the barriers. So whatever those are, we're going to help you overcome those towards a known goal. And it's about increasing your freedom as a creative person, as a photographer and a creative, arriving with more than what you started out with by a lot. And that's where the investment comes in. You're going to invest time, you're going to invest a little bit of money, but your payoff is the satisfaction of knowing that you've made something that really means something, that you can show to other people, you can pass along to other people, you can sell in a book if you want, you can put it in an exhibit. Wherever you're going to share it with the world, you've created something truly meaningful. Okay, well, listen, is there anything else that we need to cover, Jared? Do we leave anything
I don't
out?
think so. I know we've got a couple people who joined us late. You'll definitely want to check out the full
The
video.
videos, yeah.
Yeah, like just rewind, or you can check out the link that will lead you to the page for AYP Plus. We're really excited, and I will be on Discord, the platform for the AYP Plus community. I will be on there throughout the day. So as I see you guys joining, I'll give you the permissions to log in.
Beautiful.
And to see, and feel free to message me if you have any questions.
I'm going to leave you guys with one last thing. Unlike most things out there, a restaurant, you go to a restaurant, you pay for a meal, and you leave. You're not really a part of that restaurant. I mean, for that short period of time. This is very different. You guys are helping build this community. You're a part of it. You're not just investing your time and your money, but you're investing yourself into it. And that's a really special thing. That's what I found the best part of art school was those were people I got to know, and we, for that period of time, we had really bonded and we really became a group. And that's true when I was teaching mountaineering, especially. Wow, you should see what those friendships are like. And anytime you've really bonded with a group of people, it's something that you have those relationships with you forever. And you can always, like my bonding with Dan Milner and Bob Holmes and, many of these other people that I've interviewed have become really good friends of mine. That never goes away. I text Dan and what's happening, going on, and other stuff. It doesn't have anything to do with photography. Those are friendships. And I'm really hoping that's something we didn't even talk about. But I'm really hoping that we develop friendships around the world through these programs. Okay, you guys. As always, we're here for you. Let us know if you have any questions. We're going to be a lot more accessible than ever, so you can always ask your questions. I didn't tell you guys, but by now you should know that you got to subscribe and enable the bell. And, we're going to say at the end of these classes together. Remember, I always say, well, like, subscribe, leave your comments, etc. And by the way, it doesn't mean anything else is going away. We're going to still be doing our YouTube lives. It has its purpose, and we're going to for sure keep doing these. In fact, Jared, are we going to do one tomorrow? Did we decide?
We're talking about it. You'll see something. Check out. We'll have it officially announced.
We'll let you know. We might do a live. We might not. But anyway, everything else we've built, the AYP community on Facebook and so forth. But also, a lot of people had mentioned they aren't on Facebook. Is there a way that they can participate? Yes, the AYP Plus platform is there for you. Okay, all these things are there. And so, listen, it's all about capturing life. And life isn't just what comes through your camera. It's you. I want to help you have a happier life, a more successful life, a more energetic life. believe me, my goals and purposes go way beyond what goes on with a camera. I believe that. Okay. So, say it with me. Remember to get out and capture your own images of life. Sign up. As soon as we sign off, sign up. Sign up for one or other. You can go for the AYP Plus or the Masterclass, but definitely sign up. We want to see you guys there soon. And first class, Tuesday. Okay, you guys, for those Americans, have a happy Thanksgiving. It's a good time to really be thankful. Think of all the things that you have that you're thankful for. We do that in our family, and we share that. I'm thankful to have you guys. I'm thankful that we've gone this far. We worked hard at this to build something that's, I believe, has a lot of meaning. Okay, love you guys. See you soon.